जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत।
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दियो।
That was a jaw-dropping chase because KKR have won this game 7 of 5. Who would have imagined that KKR is winning from there with 2 set batsmen? I don't know what is noisier, Eden Gardens or the Cricbuzz office, because we've got KKR fans in the house. They've managed to win this. Classen got that 63, Abhishek Sharma 32, Mayank Agarwal 32, but Harshit Rana has won it for them with 3 for 33. The last over has been phenomenal. A great catch by Suyash. I'm going to leave it now to Joyda because it's KKR. They've done it for him. It's their opening game. What else can you ask for, Joyda? What a chase.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 63 runs go in 3 overs. They get there. Then the final over starts. They need 13 or 14, 6 on the first ball. And then they steal 7 of 5 and they lose it. 7 of 5 with 2 set batsmen in. It is absolutely incredible. Great. I think Harshit Rana was absolutely incredible, holding his nerve out there, bowling out there. Think, just before him, the big international fast bowler who's been paid 24 crores has just disappeared, okay?
Yes.
And he comes on there and he makes sure that they don't score more than 8 runs. That's absolutely incredible. And I think it's a great, it was just the ups and downs. This was a roller coaster match if you ever have one. Incredible match.
Simon, you know, we kept speaking about how the fielding has been, underpower, but that catch that Suyash took kind of just made up for everything that they dropped.
And it's situation of the game. You put it on the line, it's the best batter of the night, really. I mean, Andre Russell's innings was terrific, but Classen was absolutely superb in that chase, almost timing it to perfection. Gets an outside edge, you've got to turn, you've got to run. It was a really difficult catch and he made it look a lot easier than perhaps it was. So, yeah, they put some down earlier in the night, but to take the one that matters, he'll feel very good. Harshit Rana, terrific. 6 off the first ball, to have the courage to come back, to bowl those slower balls, pick up the wicket of Shabazz, that'll do him a lot of good. Especially, I mean, we were all sitting in the green room and I said, well, Stark's not going to go for 24, 25 off the over. I think he went for 26, did he, or something like that, whatever it was. Look, it was just phenomenal. They almost timed it absolutely perfectly. And I think we talked about it in the combox, Sammy. If you get to a position where you need 55, 60 off the last 4, you can do it if you've got wickets in hand because the bowlers get under pressure. They almost did it. We've just seen a terrific game and Kolkata will be breathing a sigh of relief. And Gigi, our man, he might have a smile on his face.
Oh, well, he's smiling, Joyda. We could see some really serious faces in the camp. You know, those visuals to Chandrakant Pandit and Gigi Gautam Gambhir were just like, where is this game going? But at the end of the game, we have a smiling Gautam Gambhir.
Yeah, smile. I mean, how rare is that? But obviously, they took a lot to, you know.
This will be framed. You've got Gambhir
exactly.
smiling.
They'd won it easy with 30 runs, they wouldn't have. But just the situation, the pump. And I think what he'll be really happy about is Harshit Rana doing it for them. You know, top international stars doing it for you. Who does it? Harshit Rana bowls a beauty. Suyash Sharma takes a fantastic catch. And they complete it. What Andre Russell and Mitch Stark couldn't do. I mean, this young kid from Delhi comes and does. And I think that is what will make them the happiest. That when they were under the pump, it's the domestic cricketers who stood up and took the pressure. Yeah.
Let's have a look at the batting card because Hyderabad are going to be hitting themselves on the head because this was a game that they had to win and especially with what Classen has done. He's kind of come and got those 63 of 29. Everything was going their way and then they just lose it from nowhere.
Yeah, and I mean, Shabaz's little innings as well. I know, you know, we probably think, should he have played that shot with 7 required from 5? Maybe not. But what he'd done prior to that, he was 16 off 4 deliveries. And he, along with Classen, got them to the point where they should have won the game. That's what they'll be talking about. Tripati's innings, in a chase of over 200, you face 20 balls, 1/6 of the balls, and you only get 20 runs. You know, when you need in excess of 10 and over, just not good enough. He's got to be better than that. And I know he loves playing the pace bowling, but if you can't score off the spinners, you've got to be able to get to the other end. Take your ones, work your twos around. You've got to be better than that. We've seen it year upon year that he's struggled a little bit against spin and has preferred to face the quicker bowlers. So that's an innings that they'll look back upon and just go, look, that wasn't quite good enough. If you're facing more than 10 balls, you've got to be going at better than a runner ball. But, you know, Klassen's almost rescued. Look, there's a reason why he is regarded as probably the best 2020 batter in the world at this point in time. And we've seen a glimpse of it tonight. And he'll feel gutted that he didn't get his team across the line, I think.
Joyda, but just a little more in class, and he couldn't get them across the line because of that fantastic catch. But a strike rate of 217, and you know, Simon was talking about that shot. He goes on the back foot and just keeps hitting it out of the park. He just does it time and time
I mean,
again.
that's his hands are low, so he can elevate faster. But there are 2-3 other things: the bat speed and hitting it off the back foot requires a displacement of weight. You know, shifting your weight back and then being able to get the power. To do it that fast means you need to pick the ball fast enough, shift your weight fast enough, then have the power and the timing to be able to do that. It's incredible. Nobody else does that consistently in world cricket. And the other thing about it is 0 fours. Yeah. I mean, just 8 sixes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to have the confidence, and it's all in this arc, he just hits them straight out, here. And I think that is what makes him such a dangerous batsman, because then no target is enough. If you've got 65, 70 to get in 3 overs, if you get 60 odd to get in 3 overs and they're still getting there, I mean, there's no target that's enough. I have one question to ask. Given these circumstances and given the kind of batting lineup you had, what happened? Classen had to go late, okay? Markram, basically, by the time he comes in, he's already under pressure because Tripathi is not batting fast enough. When you have a chase which is that big, when you're 10 and over, you're going for... should you be batting Mayank, Abhishek and Rahul Tripathi as your first 3 when Markram and Classen have to follow? And I think I think Classen is batting, both Classen and Markram are batting one position too far down. I mean, better than that, you take one of those guys, put Tripathi up front because then he's likely to face fast bowling. Pick up somebody like Abhishek Sharma, put him down at 6. It doesn't matter so much. You have to give Classen at least 4. You can't bat him at 5. I think he's one position too low.
You know, this was a discussion even last year because Abhishek Sharma is someone who likes opening, and then they had shuffled him around and it didn't really work for them. It didn't work for Hyderabad, getting him lower down. So then where does Mayank play? So the whole order kind of shuffles around. Do you think they should maybe get Tripathi down and try getting Markram up?
Well, you force the issue. If you ask Tripathi to bat at 6 or 7, you force the issue upon him. You're saying, well, you're going to have to do a finishing role for us because you're not going quick enough at 3. Your better batters must face more deliveries.
Exactly.
And I think that's Joy's point. You've got to have your best players facing more deliveries. I like Markram at 3. I'd love Classen at 4. That would be how I'd like to see that lineup. And it's not, you know, I mean, I know it's one game in and you might think we're having to go at Rahul Tripathi, but it's something we've seen more often than not. If the openers get a good start, then he should just slide all the way down because if they face 5-6 overs, bat the power play, more likely then spinner's going to come into play. So therefore, you need to move him further and further down the order. And I think then you get, and you can be fluid with it. Don't be so regimented about it. If they lose a wicket in the first 2 overs, no problem. Tripathi, go out there. You're facing the quicker bowlers more often than not in that power play. So that's fine. If you don't lose a wicket till the 4th or 5th over, Markram, you're in. Classen, you're up to 4. Tripathi, you're sliding down to 5 or 6. And that's just the way it's going to have to be. So T20 cricket is always evolving. And I think coaches, batters, everyone has to evolve with it. And the sides that do that best, I think, are the sides that are more successful.
You know, I just want to quickly have a look at the partnership, the Classen Shabazz partnership. 58 of 16. They just plucked it from nowhere, Joyda, because, you know, you're sitting there with the energy just dipping, saying, oh, where is this game going? And it was Kalola, producer, who said, oh, this is not over. He messaged me saying this is not over. So, you know, just come from nowhere and got those 58 runs.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shabazz, this is his home ground. He plays for Bengal in the Ranji Trophy. And he's been known to be a decent hitter, but we've never seen this form in the IPL. And when he walked out, everyone said, what is, Marco Jansen is sitting inside, what's he doing outside? And today he just proved, obviously he's shown them enough in the nets that he has that clean hitting power and he has that ability. But between the two of them, that was what was so important. You see, if Classen was going and somebody at the other end couldn't hit, then they would have just forced the issue in a particular way. But because both of them were hitting 16 of 4, I mean, he was absolutely fantastic. And I think that 16 of 4, it's what? It's basically a 4, a 6 of 4, and he just missed the last ball of the
last ball.
Yeah.
But Simon, if you had to pick this partnership or the Russell Rinku one, where would you go?
81 off 33 against 58 off, what was it, 14? 18, 16 balls. Look, I mean, I think the Rinku and Russell one was so important, was vitally important. They were in a lot of trouble. When you're chasing, sometimes it's harder because you are under the pump, you are under pressure. So can I go 50-50 on that one? Can I sit on the fence? I don't often sit on the fence, folks. I don't often sit on the fence, but
you don't.
I'm not sure about that one. Equally important, but the fact that Rinku and Russell got Kolkata to a winning score in the end, I think maybe just tips it their way.
Well, let's have a look at Calcutta's bowling card, because it was just that last ball which has made the bowling card suddenly feel like, oh, we've come across the finish line. But Joyda Harshit Rana, we spoke about him, 4 overs, 33, he's got those 3 wickets. Varun Chakravarti's had an off day, and how good has Sunil Narayan been today?
I think Sunil Narayan's, I think in the last couple of years, he's reasonably coming back to that Sunil Narayan of 2012, 2013, when he was just, you gave away those 4 overs, said, okay, 20 runs in these 4 overs and let's do it with the rest. I think he's back there. What would worry, so that I thought he was excellent. I thought Harshit Rana was excellent. I think Suyash was not the Suyash because he got hit early and therefore they didn't want to risk him any further. But the one thing Calcutta does have is they have a lot of bowling options, and the fact that Harshit Rana is doing it for them is important, because if it was the other way around, if Stark had been doing well and Harshit Rana had not, they would have worried about him.
Yeah.
Stark, they would feel, is a class international bowler. He'll get his act together. If not today, he'll get it back tomorrow. I mean, he's not somebody who's going to go every day for 53. So I think this is a very good sign that their domestic fast bowling talent is giving something to them. And the fact that Sunil Narayan is back in full form.
And don't underestimate him. I mean, we talked about it, Sami, at the Combox. You know, even if you are a seasoned international campaigner, that price tag,
Yes,
it can play on your mind. And, you know, I know we talk about it. People might think, oh, you talk about money too often. But it's there. It's out there. It's there for everyone to see. And it still puts pressure on every player. And we see it time and time again. And, you know, Mitch Stark hasn't been here since 2015. Last time he played in this tournament at Bangalore.
Yeah, Bangalore.
He's under pressure. Most expensive buy, or you know, one of the most expensive buys in the history of IPL. He's under pressure, and he's gone the distance. And he'll be going back to that hotel tonight, knowing, yes, we've won, but gee, I've had a bad day.
Yeah.
This is not quite. It's not quite as easy as I thought it might be.
This is not what they paid me for.
Correct.
But Simon, for a bowler, when there are, I think, 412 runs scored, and the economy of a bowler is 4.75. How good does that feel?
Yeah, brilliant from Narayan. Look, he assesses situations. He's never, I mean, he had maybe a little bit of time where he got called for throwing. He was under the pump a little bit. He's remodeled his action a touch. He knows now, not playing international cricket, I think he knows he's not going to get called anymore. He knows that that's not a problem for him. So he's probably gone back a little bit to the old action in some way, shape or form. He's actually getting more purchase. He was one of the few that got a little bit of assistance out of the track tonight. But the way he hides the ball, the new style that he's come with, he's just doing a great job. And, you know, with the bat in the field, there might be questions asked, but I don't think there's ever questions asked about what he does with the ball in hand.
Well, you know, just to sum up the match, let's have a look again at what happened in the last over, because it was 6-1 wicket, 1 wicket 0. Joyda, that's 1 over. I think Harshit Rana would like to frame and put up on his wall, because it can't get better than this.
He deserves it. I mean, when the top level fast bowler has gone for 26, you have 13 to defend and you do that. It's something. And you get after 6 in the first ball. So it's just incredible. And I think they'll be very proud of the way he bowled. And under pressure, the way he held his nerve, I think you've got to give it to him. You've absolutely got to give it to him.
Well, this match had really heated things up in the studio and everywhere else, but we had a whole lot of cool moments. I can't even count them, be it Russell, be it Rinku, be it Classen, be it that catch by Suyash. There were just many cool moments. So let's have a look at Carrier Room Air Conditioner's coolest moment of the match. We've got a whole lot of tweets that have come in, so let's have a look at what you all have suggested as well. Like I said, couldn't keep track of how many cool moments there are. I hope both of you all have your cool moments ready.
I've got my cool moment. I think it's Suyash's catch for me. Under pressure, the class of the batter that was there to win the game. I'm just going to say he had to turn, he had to run. He looked pretty cool doing it as well. So I'd give it to Suyash with that catch.
Suyash's catch. We'll have a look at the fan tweets as well, but Joyda, for you?
I have to say this time, one time I agree. And I'll tell you why I agree even more. Forget everything else. Suyash has not even come in when the fielding has started.
True, they kept
because they
him
don't
out.
think he's a great fielder. So they've got Ramandeep in. He comes in the 9th over. That means you don't exactly think he's the best fielder. Okay, you put him in as third man, which is not exactly the most difficult position on the planet. He's not a boundary rider or anything. And then he goes, runs backwards and takes it and makes it look easy. It has to be the coolest moment for me.
Well, I think I agree with that as well. But let's have a look at what you all have written in. We've got a bunch of ones, but let's have a look at the first one. Witnessing vintage Russell smack it all over the park at Eden's Gardens is surely my career coolest moment of the match, says Arjun. Like I said, there were so many. Let's have a look at another one. Watching Rinku and Russell in full flow is my career coolest moment of the match. Next up, Pat Cummins leaping catch to dismiss Shreyas Iyer, coolest moment of the match. Interesting, we've still not got Suyash in. Phil Salt soaking in the pressure and bailing KKR out of trouble with a half century is my coolest moment of the match, is what Harsh Jain says. It's very interesting that you all have written. Like I said, there were so many cool moments, but I think three of us agreed that Suyash's moment is the carrier room air conditioner's coolest moment of the match. Joyda, did you have something else you were adding?
No, I was just saying, perhaps they got so excited towards the end.
They forgot about it.
Yeah, no, because it was right at the end, the last over. So by that time, I think people have, tweeting or being on X was not a priority at that point in
If
time.
you've got your phone out at that stage when that's going on, you've got problems.
Right.
You're not a fan.
Problems.
You're not a fan.
Yeah.
If you're looking at anything other than the
and
screen
enjoy
at that way, absolutely.
But, where do you all think both these, it is the first game, and especially when the first game goes down to the wire like this, Calcutta will go back home happy, but knowing that they have some things to work on, they have to get probably, Stark needs to come into good form. So where do you think they will go and where do you think Hyderabad will go?
I think Hyderabad will be disappointed. They were behind the 8 ball, they were behind the game for a long way, but then they were in probably such a great position to win the game 7 off 5. So they'll be more disappointed about that. Bowling point of view, they just struggled at times. From a bowling point of view, I thought they were a little bit poor up front to Salt, just too much width there. So a few work-ons from a bowling point of view for Hyderabad, and the fact that they got into a position to win the game and couldn't close it out. That'll be the most disappointing things for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully agree, and they've just got to look at batting. Markram and Classen a bit ahead.
Yeah.
I just cannot see them. They should be coming in at 3 and 4. I think that's one thing that they'll be looking at. I think KKR, they'll be looking and saying, okay, my bowling, Harshit Rana has done it for me, Suyash has done it for me. The pitch had a bit of turn, which means Gautam has got his way. Where do I go from here? And I now have a combination which I know I can play at the Eden Gardens, because I think they know how to play this ground right now. They'll worry a little bit about their death bowling because, Harshit Rana shouldn't have to make a rescue act. They should have won this by 25 odd runs.
Well, everyone at the Cricbuzz office, Joyda, Mr. Shah Rukh Khan and all KKR fans are going to be smiling a lot. But we have a super packed Sunday tomorrow. It's a double header again. Let's have a look at the first match as Lucknow take on Rajasthan. This is match number 4 at Jaipur. I'm just going to, Joyda and Simon, go straight into the teams because Rajasthan is a team which looks really solid on paper. We'll have a look at Rajasthan's squad, but it's a team that the batting just seems never-ending, Simon. And then they've got this experienced spinners in, they've got Bolt in, so it just looks like a very balanced side.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a very good side. The batting side of things, Jaiswal, Butler, Sampson, Hetmeyer, Powell, they sort of pick themselves. Bowling, we've got the genuine world-class spinners, the local Indian spinners. You throw Trent Bolt in there as well. The overseas players, Butler obviously plays, Hetmeyer plays, Powell and Bolt would be the 4 for me that would play in that lineup. Joy, I don't know whether you'd have any different views. I think Ferreira, TKC and Nandre Berger, they probably miss out.
No, absolutely.
Zampu's not here, is he?
Zampu's not here.
No.
He's dropped out for personal reasons.
Yeah.
But I think this is possibly the most well-balanced first 11 that you'll get because they've got quality spin. They've got really quality spin in terms of, having the likes of, Ashwin and Chahal, sorry. You have quality fast bowling. You have Bolt, you have Avesh Khan. And they must be really happy they got in Avesh because, they just lost Prasidh Krishna. And then just look at that batting up front. And Rovman Powell, if he plays, he gives them some overs as well. So that lineup, and the big bonus is Dhruv Jurel is a finisher. Now that one other thing is that Riyan Parag has actually had a terrific domestic season. They can afford to bat him ahead now. Because what happens now is, if you see that batting lineup, they can go Butler, Jaiswal, go Sanju Samson, okay? Then decide upon the situation to go with Hetmeyer, or they go with Parag early, because now they have a batter like Dhruv Jurel who finishes well. Okay, he got them a 13-13, a 13-15 last year. So they've got that guy at 6 or 7. So Powell and Dhruv Jurel and Hetmeyer make a packed 5, 6, 7 then. So if you bat Riyan Parag a bit earlier, I think he's had a sensational season. I think it'll open up their batting even more.
You know, Simon, like Joyda is saying, it looks like the most balanced side. But if you have to pick on something, if you have to be that strict principle and pick on something which might not work in favour of the team, what would it be?
I can't see many weaknesses. I honestly can't. I looked through that lineup. I think a first 11 with an impact player looks very, very strong. Whoever they decide that impact player to be and which way they want to go is you know, they've got choices in that front. But I don't see a weakness in that 11, and you know, I've seen the numbers for Riyan Parag in the domestic season. I know they're very good. Haven't seen enough of that in this tournament.
Yeah.
But is it his time? Has he matured a bit more? Is he a better player? And if he's given opportunity and genuine opportunity at 4, I mean at 5, 6, and 7, as Joy said, if you've got Jurel, Powell, and Hetmeyer in any order, I mean that is serious power. And you know, if your team can get you off to starts up the top, they will hurt you at the back ends. From a bowling point of view, obviously Trent Boult and getting Avish, the 2 quality spinners. They probably play Sandeep, who's got so much skill as well. So they've got options there. I don't see too many problems for Rajasthan. I like them this year.
Even however strict we can be, it's difficult to find some problems. So let's move on and have a look at Lucknow squad. This squad, I think, Joyda, who are going to be your overseas players? Because this could be a tricky one.
Look, I think they have no option but to go with De Kock, Stoinis, Puran. Definitely, those 3 play. The 4th, I think, because their Indian bowling is not that great, the Indian fast bowling is not that great. I think they'll need to play. I think Willie's not there. I think he's injured. So you have Shamar Joseph, you might need to play. But that's the point, that De Kock and Puran pick themselves. I think Stoinis picks himself. I think they give you far too much variety. One of the fast bowlers, possibly Shamar Joseph, will play.
Not Kyle Mayers for you.
Kyle Mayers gives them an interesting option because he can open for them and bowl for them as well. But if he gives them enough with the ball, that's the only time they can take a chance with him. The really important name out there is Mohsin Khan. If Mohsin Khan, they traded away Avesh Khan because they thought Mohsin Khan is going to be their premier fast bowler. If Mohsin does not do it for them, I think they're in a bit of trouble. What is their advantage? Their advantage is they have lots of bits and pieces player. You know, Huda will bowl a bit for them. Kunal Pandya bowls a bit, bats a bit. Stoinis bowls and bats. So everyone bowls and bats a bit. But right now, with De Kock not being in the best of form, they're not the dominating team they were. In fact, De Kock himself currently in that South African T20 was dropping down to bat because he was not really getting runs opening.
And that's the problem. As soon as you give away international cricket and decide that that's not where your future lies, and you're not playing at that top level, we've seen it time and time again in this tournament with batters who have retired, taken time out of the game. If you're not putting the work in, and you know, I don't know how much work Quinny is putting in, but you just find it more difficult. And that's the key. So he's going to have to find form for them because he'll be crucial at the top. They don't have a deep batting order. They've got a lot of all-rounders in that probably 6, 7, 8 category who can bat. You know, Krunal can win you a game with the bat, but he's not going to do it all the time. Deepak Huda's form hasn't been great this domestic season, so he's struggled. And so you've got a top 6 that looks like Padikkal, De Kock, KL, Puran, Huda, Stoinis. That's probably your top 6 in that lineup there. Do they play Naveen, who's got experience at this level? Do they play Shamar Joseph, who doesn't have experience? He's coming off one great test series.
Exactly.
Do they expose him at this level as well? So they've got I think they've got a few questions about them, the Lucknow side for mine. There's more questions about them than there are about Rajasthan for me.
I have also one other question, and I'm being very honest with you, and this is no reflection on anything. KL Rahul, why did they trade for David Padikkal? Because KL Rahul told the management he wants to bat at 4.
Down.
Okay, He wants to bat at 4 and 5. Why? Because India can only see him. The India top order is too crowded. Yeah. The only chance of getting in as a wicketkeeper batsman is 4 or 5. And I want people to consider this, that you have actually, as a team, as a franchise, have said, okay, I'm going to do that for you and do it. It's great. But if I was a coach of the franchise, I'd say, is this the best lineup for my franchise to play out? And I'm not particularly sure KL Rahul batting at 5 is my answer. So that's one thing. I mean, I'm happy as an Indian supporter, I'm happy they've done that. Yeah. But if I was a Lucknow supporter or owner, I'd turn around and say, that's letting my team down. You are playing to that place, not because my franchise needs it, but because your India prospects get better.
True.
And that's something to think about. And look, it's easy to say that, India is more important. I think every franchise coach, every franchise team has to look to say.
But this is not an Indian selectors who have come to them and said, can you please bat KL at 4 or 5?
They have not.
This is him doing it himself, which is vastly different. If the England football selectors go to Liverpool and say, we want him
to play left back.
We want him to play left back. We'd like Trent Alexander-Arnold to play up front. We might do that because you're asking us. But this is not the select. This is himself. This is the captain himself saying, I need to bat here because this enhances my chances. So, does it affect the balance of the team? That time will tell.
So is he going to be a player of the match tomorrow to watch out for, considering has a lot on his back?
Yeah, he's gone with that. My point is now with him moving, I think their single most important player is Puran. He's explosive. He's the man who can make a difference. And he's a man like Classen. Perhaps Classen and he are the two most feared strikers in international cricket today. Yeah.
And one from Rajasthan, if you'll have to quickly pick.
Oh, goodness.
There's so many.
Look, there's so many. I'm just looking forward to watching the spin combination. I think Yuzi, he's sort of been usurped, hasn't he, from an Indian point of view? Again, overlooked. Watching him go about his business again, I love watching him bowl.
For you, Joyita?
I just have to say that under these circumstances, they need Jos Buttler to come back. The Jos Buttler that they had in 22, not the one they got in 23.
All right, we'll wait and watch, but we also have a big game. Another big game tomorrow is Mumbai versus Gujarat. It's happening at Ahmedabad. And well, this is a big game for many, many reasons. There's a lot that's going to be spoken about on social media, but we are not going to get there right now. We'll leave it for tomorrow. We'll have a look at the squads. If we can have a look at Mumbai first. Again, on paper, Joyda, Mumbai looks like they've got a really balanced side. It's again who they want to go ahead with, who their 4 overseas players are going to be. Absolutely.
I mean, if you look at that, for me, the only problem is that at this point in time, Surya Kumar will miss a few matches, which means that top 5, they had 5 Indian international players playing in that top 5. Now perhaps they'll have 4 and Nehal Vadera playing. I see as the international players, Tim David definitely playing. Kodze definitely playing. I think those two will definitely play. The other two would be interesting. Who would you go with?
It depends on whether they want to go an out-and-out batter in Devalt Brevis or they want to go a slight all-round option with Romario Shepherd. I think they need another overseas quick to partner Kutsia. So I'd be going with Luke Wood over Nuwan Tushara at the moment, just with the pace, I think, and the left arm options, obviously. So I think I would go Shepherd. I would go with Romario Shepherd, Luke Wood, and go that way for Mumbai. But, they've got other options. Without Sky at 4, they've got cover, Nehal Vadera, Varma. They've got cover there. I think it's a deep enough batting lineup. Tim David probably at 5 or 6 in that lineup. It still looks pretty good. Joyda, if you were to pick on maybe some weaknesses which is there in the Mumbai side, do you think it would be the bowling? I'd say the spin options. They don't really have too many spin options. I mean, Tim David does give you a bit for you. I think if it'll come to that, he's still one of the greats of the IPL in terms of, wicket taking. Piyush Chawla, play him. They did it last year. They played him like an impact sub, brought him on. And I still think that, there's between him and Shreyas Gopal, and I still think Piyush Chawla has a bit to give you. And I think if they use him smartly, I think that's the impact sub that they'll be going with. Spin is their only weakness. Otherwise, if you leave that fast bowling, because we've just forgotten, Hardik Pandya has said he's going to bowl. And he's going to give you at least 2 overs a match. So we say Hardik Pandya gives you 2, and you have Bumrah coming in. You have 2 other international fast bowlers giving you 8 overs. It's a formidable bowling attack.
Well, there's no Sky in the Mumbai team, which is a big blow for them, and so is no Shami in the Gujarat team, a big blow for Gujarat. Let's have a look at Gujarat squad. Simon, again, you know, this without Hardik and Shami just doesn't seem like the Gujarat that was there last year. Sorry, the year before that.
No, it's the bowling attack for me. Where do they go? What do they do? I mean, look, Rashid picks himself, David Miller picks himself. Outside of that, where do you go? I mean, the two, I would go with Omar Zai. I think because he can maybe fill that Hardik Pandya role a little bit. And then from there, Josh Little hasn't been at his best. And Spencer Johnson, I think, is possibly a better option from an overseas point of view. They are going to need their Indian batters to really stand up, though. I mean, Shubman Gill's going to have to score a lot of runs. Saha at the top, Sudarshan, absolutely, and Shah Rukh Khan. They are going to need a lot of runs out of those guys because I don't think they can afford to play Williamson. And for me, that, you know, it just takes away a little bit of stability.
Do you think it's a big blow that Shami is not there and there's too much on Umesh and probably Mohit on their shoulders? Because who's going to fill those big shoes?
Yeah, I mean, Mohit has played just 3 T20s. And my point is that Mohit was last year did things for them that he hasn't done for a long time. He had a standout season. And the biggest problem you have is that Shubman has already had that breakout season, 830 odd runs. You're not going to get 830 runs every year. Which means who is the next batsman, who is going to pick up that slack is a huge plan. There's a big middle order. There's Hardik Pandya missing out there. So there are lots of pieces which are getting replaced. I mean, Omar Zai, Hardik Pandya for Omar Zai. Remember, Omar Zai again, even if he's 80% of Hardik Pandya, he's 80% of Hardik Pandya as an international player taking up one of those 4 slots.
Yeah.
The other thing is that traditionally the Ashish Nehra school of thinking, and let's admit that it is currently still the most successful school of thinking in the IPL, given that they've reached one final and won one title, is that bowlers win tournaments. And that's what this year they don't have. You know, they don't have, at this point in time, the bowling attack that looks at it. You know, Shami is not there. It's not looking that, penetrative. And I'm just hoping he pulls something, Sai Kishore has a great season, or somebody now needs to stand up and have a great season, because replacing Shami out there and 2 overs of Hardik Pandya is not going to be easy for them.
All right, so your players to watch out for then from each team.
Gosh. Look, I mean, Sai Sudarshan, you're going to have to, that's a side to me that needs Indian players and young Indian players to stand up. Joy just said it, that Shubman, you're not going to get your 800 every year. He's going to have a good season again, but Sai Sudarshan needs to have a 500-run season for them to do well.
So Sai Sudarshan for you and for Joyda.
I feel Rashid Khan is key to them, and I think if Rashid Khan can sort of inspire them, and because he now has to take that burden on his shoulders. I think Shubman is a young captain. Rashid has to be the one who's driving them. I think Rashid from this side, and I think from the Mumbai side, I just really want to see what mood Rohit Sharma is in when he walks out to bat. That's
Don't all Rohit fans want to see that? That just want Rohit to come out from where he's left off in the Test series and in the ODI World Cup. So every Mumbai fan is doing this to see what Rohit does tomorrow. We will see what happens tomorrow because it's going to be a blockbuster Sunday. But we have to do something which is extremely important on Cricbuzz, is answer Mr. Joy Bhattacharya's question. So let's have a look at the question. Joyda, please take over.
Okay, the question was, which cricketer top scored with 60 in the second innings is the only test he played for India? There are not too many who played just one test, and this is of course played in 1934. It's a man called Yadavindra Singh, the Yuvraj of Patiala, the man after whom the stadium is named today. And interesting, fascinating man. He was an ambassador later, did a lot for Indian cricket administration, sports administration. His brother was the president of the Indian Olympic Association. It's a family. His father actually donated the Ranji Trophy. So the Ranji Trophy which you see is donated by his father. His son was the chief minister of Punjab.
That bit you told us when you were giving us the history of the stadium, but you conveniently didn't tell us a whole bit that you should be. Yes.
So that's it. It's a very storied family. And he deserves to have a stadium named after him. He was a pretty decent cricketer in his time.
I'm sure there are a whole lot of your fans and your own accounts that have given the answers, Joyda.
You had to put in my own accounts, right?
Let's see who's gotten it right.
Rajat Bhargav. Okay, I haven't seen this name before. Congratulations, Rajat. Well done.
Oh, we don't have your thumbs up in the
image. No,
no.
Please don't do this.
Where did it go? Joyda, we
I'm
need a
so
thumbs up
glad.
from you. We need
I
a
had
thumbs
to
up.
pay a lot of money to make sure that thumbs up is not shown again.
But that's what they write.
I
for.
look
You
as
just
if I'm
have
going to
give
sell a
thumbs
county
up.
club or something.
But you have to give a thumbs up to
I-
Rajat. He'll feel
I'll
cheated.
give him one. I'll give him one.
There he is. He's got one from an international cricketer. What more does he want?
But it's Joyda's thumbs up also that everyone wants to see once they get the answers. But I want to congratulate not only KKR for what they've done, but also Joyda, also Simon, and also me, because we've all won our prediction games equally. We've been a team.
Ah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
3.
we've all got,
One miss and one each.
one each and one nota.
It's as democratic as you get.
That's
Yes.
as good as it gets.
So we've done defending champion Gaurav Kapoor, my senior. You still have the crown with you. Please make us proud. We will be competing with you. We've got a whole season to go. But well, the first day has been yours. It's been a very exciting first day. Couldn't have asked for a better game. Couldn't have asked for better company. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow because it's going to be a blockbuster Sunday. So we will see you all there tomorrow. Good night and goodbye.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad को 50 एक्सप्रेस पौरबोती स्टेशन नेताजी भवन कृपया ध्यान दो